Welcome back to the channel, Asterisk. I've lived in North Hollow, Maine, my whole life. Born here, raised here, and until recently, I thought I'd die here. Ours is the kind of town you see in Christmas postcards, all pine trees and snowdrifts, clapboard houses with smoke curling from chimneys, and streets so quiet you can hear the church bell from miles away. But there's another side to North Hollow that no one puts on postcards. A side I didn't believe in until last winter. The storm arrives, it began with the weather warnings. The meteorologists had been saying for days that this would be the kind of storm you remember for the rest of your life. A nor'easter, but stronger than any in recent decades. Whiteout conditions, historic snowfall, potential for long-term outages. Their voices were cheerful, but everyone stocked up anyway. By January 14th, the clouds had rolled in like a bruise. By 3 p.m., snowflakes as big as quarters were hammering down. By 6 o'clock, the wind had risen to a steady scream, rattling windows and making the trees sway like they were alive. The power flickered 3 times around 6:04 p.m., and then it died completely. It was the kind of dark that swallows you. I lit candles and set them on every flat surface in the kitchen. The wax dripped fast in the cold air. My breath fogged as I moved around the house. The first night, I planned to sleep downstairs near the wood stove. I had just settled in with a blanket when I heard it, a faint creak from upstairs. Night 1, at first, I told myself it was the wind. That the wind doesn't make footsteps. The sound came again. A slow, heavy thump, then another. I live alone. The front and back doors were locked, dead-bolted. No windows were open. I grabbed my flashlight and climbed the stairs slowly, my heart pounding with each step. At the top, the beam swept across the hallway and froze. There, on the beige carpet, was a line of footprints, human, bare. Each print was darker than the carpet around it, damp where snow had melted into the fibers. They started just outside the bathroom door and led toward my bedroom. I hadn't been upstairs all day. I followed them slowly. They stopped at the side of my bed. No prints leading away. The room smelled faintly of damp earth, like soil after rain. I searched every corner. Empty. I barely slept that night. I sat in the living room with the flashlight in my lap, listening to the wind howl and the occasional creak from above. The town finds out the storm raged into the next day. No one could drive anywhere. We checked on each other on foot, trudging through waist-deep drifts. When I reached my neighbor, Mrs. Lane's house, she looked pale and shaken. "Did you get them too?" she asked before I could say a word. "Get what?" I asked. She led me into her living room. On her cream carpet, a set of wet footprints came from the locked back door and led straight to her bedroom. They stopped right beside my bed, she whispered. That day, we discovered nearly every household in town had the same story. Locked doors, footprints, always toward bedrooms. Always stopping there. Night 2, I decided I'd be ready. I pushed my dresser against the bedroom door, checked the windows twice, kept the flashlight in my hand. At 12:43 a.m., I woke to the sound of footsteps inside my barricaded room. Fresh, wet prints trailed from the corner where there was no entry point, right to my bed. The air was humid, like someone breathing, close to my face. I could hear it, slow, steady breaths. I didn't move until dawn. The prints vanished with the morning light. Other accounts, Ben Harper, across town, said he woke to see a tall, thin figure at the foot of his bed. He never saw its face, but he heard it breathe before his candle went out. Claire Dorsey found a wet handprint on her bedroom door. It stayed for hours in the cold room. A family on Maple Road said their footprints circled the bed 3 times before vanishing. Night 3, the visit. By the 3rd night, panic was setting in. Families slept in shifts. Doors were barricaded. But it didn't matter. That night, I set up my phone to record. Candles lit, flashlight ready dot at 1:19 a.m. I woke to silence. Then a faint step, another, then nothing. I checked my phone in the morning. The video showed footprints forming one by one, the carpet indenting as if under invisible weight. Then the recording stopped dead battery, though it had been fully charged. The sheriff's records after the storm ended, the sheriff called a town meeting. He had found old reports from 1903, 1923, 1943, 1963, 1983, and 2003. Every 20 years during a multi-day blackout snowstorm, the same thing happened. Footprints in locked homes, leading to beds. Ending their .1 note from 1923 read, "If you see them, do not look up." Night 4, the last blackout night, the fourth night was the worst. The wind was a low moan outside. I sat awake in the living room, far from the bed, around 2 a.m. I heard the front door creak, though it was still locked when I checked. When I turned back, wet footprints were already forming along the living room rug. They came toward me. I couldn't move. My breathing quickened. They stopped 3 feet away, and then I looked up. It was tall, its head nearly brushing the ceiling. Its skin was the pale gray of old snow. No eyes, no mouth, just the sound of breathing. The candles went out. When I woke, it was morning. The prints were gone, but the carpet where I had been sitting was damp. Aftermath, people still whisper about the blackout. Some families moved away. Others pretend it never happened, but I know it will happen again. The records prove it. 20 years from now, when the snow comes and the power goes out, they'll be back. Maybe sooner, because last week, during a clear night in March, I found a single wet footprint in my hallway, and there hasn't been snow for weeks.